Call the meeting to order. We have a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mrs. Frank.
Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Sorry. Mayor Kindle.
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino is absent. Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Councilwoman LaPratt.
Here.
Councilwoman Sawicki. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Present.
Councilman Toussaint.
Present.
Acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
City Attorney Diwali.
Here.
I need a motion to approve the absence of Councilwoman Constantino.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I'll offer the, is it a motion?
a motion.
Motion to
Support.
excuse her.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I need a motion to approval of the minutes. Not everybody speak at one time, but somebody.
This is presentation. Madam Mayor, find anything.
Oh, no wonder. I make a motion
Yes.
to approve the regular city council meeting held on December 18, 2023. Board of review meeting held on December 12, 2023. Planning commission meeting held on December 20th, 2023.
Support.
Okay, discussion. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comment on agenda items only. Oh,
We have
I
a
need
presentation.
to, our state representative.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I just skipped right over you. I apologize. Our state representative, Representative Paez, yeah, please come to the podium and make your presentation. I just was rattling right along.
Thank you. I have to resist the urge to say hi. Greetings. State Representative Veronica Pies, House District 11. I'm just going to be. Oh, can you hear me now?
Try now, Veronica.
Okay. Yeah.
That's better.
Can you hear me? A little bit better? I'll speak up then. Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm going to keep real brief because I know I can be verbose. So I'm going to read some bullet points and then add a few other things afterwards. So I just wanted to give a quick legislative update on laws that have been, legislation that's been signed into law the past year. So bullet points here. One is the repealing of the retirement tax, which is equalizing the exemption on both public and private pensions beginning this year. It's a 4-year phase-in. First year is with for first responders, police officers, firefighters, and it's expected that this will expect about 500,000 retirees, and they'll be saving somewhere around $1,000 annually. The next piece is earned income tax credit has been raised from 6% to 30% of the federal tax level, and this is retroactive to 2022. In mid-February, about 700,000 families who are eligible for this credit will be receiving a tax rebate check in the mail. It'll average about $550. We restored the worker freedoms for collective bargaining. We expanded the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act to include LGBTQ+. We repealed the 1931 Criminal Abortion Penal Code, and the Reproductive Health Care Act includes abortion rights, but Medicaid will not cover abortions and the one-day waiting period remains. I know some people had concerns about that. Our health care policy legislation includes insurance that cannot be denied due to pre-existing conditions. This has been a really big concern for me, my family, and I know a lot of other people over the years. Lead protections for children. Schools and childcare facilities will be required to conduct routine water sampling and testing, and physicians will be required to test children ages 1 through 4 for lead poisoning. Education, we have no charge breakfasts and lunches for public schools K through 12. Students and per pupil funding has been raised 5%. With the, we put just about close to $2 billion towards educational concerns this year in this year's budget. With gun safety legislation, we have safe storage and preventing those with domestic violence convictions from owning and purchasing a gun for 8 years. Also, anyone who purchases a firearm safety device no longer has to pay sales or use taxes. We've banned child marriage, children under the age of 18 from being married. Between 2000 and 2021, there were about 5,400 child marriages in Michigan, and 95% of those were between a child and an adult. So you also may have heard recently about Teddy's Law. It's something that Senator Hertel had taken on as a state rep and has worked through on this. It's basically lab research dogs and cats who don't have to be euthanized for behavioral problems or health problems are to be offered up first for adoption before they can be euthanized. Sometimes they just euthanize the animal. So this will be around that. As you all know, we have the hands-free driving law now, where you no longer can hold your cell phone. The election laws we have are including more days to vote at the polls. Essentially, they'll have something here set up, I know, in City Hall. And we have a web-based tracking system for absentee ballots. And it will automatically register people to vote after they leave prison as well. Presidential primaries have been moved to February 27th. Let's see, Juneteenth is now a state-recognized holiday. Minimum wage is increased to $10.33, which is almost a $500 annual increase. And probably of really great concern to a lot of people is financial public disclosure acts by your elected officials in the state. Your state house representatives, your senators will now have to file annual disclosure reports that outline our incomes, our assets over $1,000, and liability over $10,000. I don't know when they'll be giving us the forms to complete this, but I would expect that they should be up and available for looking at by the end of spring, at least. We do not have to report lobbyist gifts, however. Lobbyists are required to report gifts that they give to the elected officials. That's a whole lot to go through, but I keep a spreadsheet in my office which details every lobbyist gift that I get, so it's public. If anybody wants to go take a look at it, they can ask for it. I can tell you that it's mostly soft drink snacks, a bag of apples from a farmer, and lots of tote bags, which I'm willing to share if anybody needs a tote bag. A lot of them. So some of the meetings I've had this past year, it's been really varied. From the Detroit District Dental Society, met with my colleagues with the Detroit firefighters and with firefighter union reps from Harper Woods and St. Clair Shores and the Michigan Association of Fire Chiefs. I've met with Citizens for Prison Reform, Michigan Association for Justice, East Warren Development Corporation, Macomb County Department of Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller, about water quality issues. Michigan Nurses Association and Michigan Council of Nurse Practitioners, Michigan Educational Association, the MEA, Michigan Sierra Club, Michigan Audiology Coalition, the Michigan Library Association, People's Water Board Coalition of Michigan, and University of Michigan Administration, and recently also the Wayne State University's new president. I've been attending school board meetings, some city council meetings, and neighborhood group meetings. And the tours I've taken the past year have included of an ethanol plant and trade union training facilities in the Detroit metro area. So Carpenter Millwrights, IBEW, plumbing, that. The tributes in Harper Woods I've given this year have been to Mr. and Mrs. Mosley, who were celebrating their 75th wedding anniversary. Unfortunately, Mr. Mosley passed in early July, I believe. And Terry Hughes, a Harper Woods School Board member who had completed some certified training for school board members. And just real quick, what I'm working on. I'm working on several bills, and I've been consulting with our research staff about these and working with our stakeholders. One of the pieces of proposed legislation includes something that Councilwoman Williams suggested to me that I've been able to follow up with our former Director of Veterans Affairs, is the definition of veteran, because apparently not everybody who we think is a veteran is entitled, if you will, to use that definition. So we're looking into that, and we'll have something forthcoming hopefully this spring. Also working with the Michigan Library Association on a public library policy for libraries. I've been working with one constituent regarding professional licensing and apprenticeships. I'm also working on the worker transparency and fringe benefits and environment issues. One of the ones I'm working on right now with a colleague is short-term rentals, and another is regarding domestic violence, where we will be seeking anybody who's arrested for domestic violence will have a 24-hour hold. That way it gives the person who's the victim time to do what they need to do. So I'm also working with, or I had worked with another constituent about a cottage food law. That was resolved, but, well, the issue was resolved with her. And let's see, and another constituent, been working with on agricultural water quality. So, all that, you can find me on my house website at reppaiz, that's REPPAIZ.com, and you can find out which bills I've sponsored, which bills I've co-sponsored. You can also drop me a line there, send me a message. You can let me know your bill ideas, or if you want to meet with me, or pretty much anything, and I can get back to you. So, would you have any questions, or
Okay.
at the moment?
Is there any questions of state rep, of council members?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I just had a question about the new redistricting that they're talking
Oh,
about.
yes. I know nothing. And I'm serious. I don't mean to be flip about that. For those who don't know, there was a federal lawsuit claiming that the civil rights had been, voting rights had been violated. And this was at a federal court over on the west side of the state. So they've said that we have to do redistricting now of certain districts. The case was originally, well, still is, for a lot of the Detroit districts, House districts. There are 7 of us, I believe, and 6 Senate districts. So those are all being challenged, will have to be redistricted. I had heard that possibly the redistricting commission itself was thinking about appealing this to the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't know if that will happen or not. If it doesn't, this will then start moving. I think that the plaintiffs have asked for a special master who would come in and either work with them to set out the new districts or to write them themselves. I don't know how long that would take. I know that there needs to be, I believe, a 45-day period after the districts are made up for public comment. I also know that Secretary of State Benson had said that she needs at least 4 months advance notice, well, 4 months before the election to be able to work with municipal clerks on the whole redistricting issue, on ballots and the notifications, things like that. So I do know that the last day to file your paperwork to run this year is April 23rd. But there's also been some talk about changing that date too. So really, I don't know that we'll have any idea what the districts are until the end of April, possibly. So yeah, so I know pretty much as everybody else here who has read the paper.
Thank you.
So,
Real quick question. What did you say the election date was in February?
excuse me, February 27th. It's presidential primary dates.
All right. Is there anyone else have any questions of me? Well,
Thank you so
very
much for your time.
We appreciate it. All right, back to public comments on agenda items. Seeing none, I need a resolution for the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, make a resolution to approve consent agenda items 1 through 4.
Discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
I have a quick question about one of the items in the check registry. It is, trying to see if there's a page number associated with this. It's ours, bottom of the second page. I'm just curious as to how this is working. It's number 129057. It says Harper Woods High School MLK Celebration Parade.
Right.
And then I don't know, is that just like it's passing through the city and it's being taken care of by the school, or how is this working? Is this something the city is paying for? And I'm just kind of curious as to what that bill is all about.
Okay, this is it's a combined effort. It's to honor our Division IV champs at Harper Woods High School and also tie in Martin Luther King celebration. There's 2 floats from the Detroit Parade Company that are going to go through the city January 12th. And this is the cost of getting it, getting everything accomplished.
Okay.
You also want to say that it's part of the donations that we'll be getting from it, so.
You can, Mayor, you can take.
Yet also in respect for it, is almost like a pass-through because we're getting donations for the parade. So those things will offset, but we have to put out money ahead of time for the floats because the parade company don't, it's no COD with them.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, that takes us to old business and we have none. So we go to new business, city manager report.
Okay, item G1, schedule a public hearing Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Mayor and council, as you are aware, the city's 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan is currently being updated by our planning consultants, McKenna Associates, in conjunction with the Parks and Recreation Department and our Economic Development Department. It has been in the developmental stage for several months, and in order to adopt the plan, a public review period is required, followed by a public hearing. The public review period began on December 22nd and will be open until the date of the scheduled public hearing. It is my recommendation that we hold a public hearing at a special meeting on January 29th due to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources grant deadline being on February 1st and the requirement of a 30-day public review period. We would not meet these requirements in time for a regular meeting. Mayor, I would recommend that a motion be made.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
by motion to schedule a public hearing for January 29th, 2024 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of public input and comment on proposed Harper Woods Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Discussion?
I'm sorry, discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I do want to point out, obviously, that, that's going to involve our having an extra meeting.
Right.
So that the public knows that they can come on the 29th to discuss this. I believe that the Parks and Rec Master Plan also has availability online for the public to respond,
It's in the Citizen
Lab.
It's been in
It's out there.
Citizen Lab.
which is also available through the city's website.
Right.
As well. I know that if you are in Citizen Lab, you probably received an email that encouraged you to open the master plan and take a look at it, comment on it. But all of you are active in the community, and I strongly recommend that you take a look at the master plan and let us know. You know, is there anything that you wished were in that's not in that now? You know, is there anything that you question or whatever? Because going forward, this master plan is also going to help guide what the community does in our parks and rec. So thank you.
Are there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item G2, Michigan Municipal League Capital Conference. Mayor and council, we have received the attached notice of the league's annual legislative conference to be held March 12th and 13th, 2024 in Lansing. It is customary for the city council to authorize attendance by interested members. The mayor has shown interest in attending, and if there are others who wish to attend, please let my office know as soon as possible so we can register you. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
make the resolution to authorize those council members interested to attend the Michigan Municipal League's annual legislative conference, March 12th and 13th, 2024, in Lansing, Michigan, with the city paying all necessary and related expenses.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilwoman LaFrat,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilman Jennings.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, Mayor and Council, we have an addition to the agenda, emergency repairs, water main. Mayor and Council, I would request that the attached item be added to this evening's agenda. It is for the emergency repairs of approximately 280 feet of a 12-inch water main on Vernier in front of North Point Development that I mentioned to all of you previously. Both repair estimates are attached and relate to the same project. The existing piping was built in the 1960s and is compromised. The new piping has a useful life of 80 to 100 years. The city has applied for a grant related to other aspects of this build-out for 2024. Hopefully, we will be successful now that the Eastland Commerce Center project is slated for completion sometime at the end of this year. Both of these payments will be from the water fund, and we have a fresh budget in place and can afford these payments for 2024. The DPW superintendent will be present to answer any questions. Mayor, we need a motion to add this item.
I need a motion to add,
Madam Mayor,
yes.
make the motion to add to the agenda payment to Guardian Sewers and Core and Main for the emergency repairs.
Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, was there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now,
Okay, now, Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
yes.
I'll make the resolution to approve payment to Guardian Sewer in the amount of $82,000 and to Core and Main in the amount of $17,383.01 for the emergency repairs of a 12-inch water main for a total of $99,383.01.
Okay, any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I know in the past, I mean, Heather's here, she can attest to this, but I know in the past that many of people have been out there fixing that main. I know it's been off for some time because it's so bad. This is gonna take a huge burden off of our DPW and Heather, and I mean, just, that price is actually very good. I know we're going out for bid on just 2 blocks of Beaconsville, and I think we're talking in the $180,000 range for 6-inch, or for 8-inch water main. So this is a very good deal for reputable people we know about. So, I feel.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
280 feet is a pretty long distance, so how will that affect anything that's going on the roadway?
Heather, would you care to detail this a little more?
No cash?
Good evening. No, I have an MRI tomorrow, so I'm at the point now where the cast is more of a hindrance than it has been a help. I've tripped a couple of times, so I figured this is probably safer. Ms. Swiggy, it's in the easement in front of the building 1, not out in the roadway. So, but as Mr. Jenny very eloquently stated, this piece of main is in terrible condition. They're about to pour some cement in that section, so it's really important that we get this repair made before they pour that cement, because if they pour that cement and the old deteriorated main continues to break or have leaks, we're gonna have to break up their brand new cement in order to make this repair, and then we'll have to in turn replace that cement at our cost.
Let me ask another question. Is this going to in any way affect, I know they've got a retention pond in that area as well?
No.
So it's not gonna affect that?
No.
Okay, but that retention pond drains into this main?
No, this is a water main.
Oh, so that's incoming water?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
The sewer flow in that
Separate.
section won't,
It won't be affected.
okay. And we'll just pray that nothing happens with those.
And
Okay.
one good thing about it is that they're putting a sidewalk all the way along Veneer that's never been there before. So now you actually be able to walk
Walkable, yes.
down the sidewalk on Veneer.
After the main goes in.
After the main gets through, yeah, right, yeah. Is there any further questions of?
Yes, Madam Mayor?
Mhm.
I just had a question about the invoice, because our resolution says for Core and Main in the amount of $17,383.01. But when we look at the bill, this is $19,247.99.
Look beneath it, it should say 17,383.01.
Right,
2 of the items are for additional repairs down the road. That was our quote for all of the items we were interested in purchasing. But the 2 that are listed on your sheet say ECC. Those are for that Eastland Commerce Building repair.
you see it in writing down at the bottom. Are there any further questions? Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor, there is one other thing I wanted to ask about, and that was the impact. I know that our acting city manager mentioned that we have money in the fund to cover this. Is there going to be any long-term impact that residents will have to expect from, our dipping so dramatically into that fund?
I want to say that we had the biggest jolt probably in 2023, and we don't expect that going forward. We have a grant that we put in last year. It wasn't accepted, I think probably because there was still a lot of work in progress, but now that the building is almost completed, we're getting positive conversation from the state. So I'm confident that we're going to have a better shot at the grant that we put in for this year.
May I point out that our city, our state rep is sitting in the audience, and maybe it would be,
Oh, I'll be pulling on her tail once it goes through the department. Yes, she knows that.
And we're also going to be pulling on some federal funds because we got about $15 billion from federal grants that is waiting for us for water infrastructure. So both our representative and our senator and our congressperson will all be tapped. Are there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrada.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
And that concludes the city manager's reports.
All right, thank you very much. Let's call the audience and step up to the mic and identify yourself for 3 minutes only. And once we ask you to stop, we mean action, please stop.
Hi, Kristen Olin Sullivan, Country Club Drive. Thank you for hearing me out. Section 12-463 of the amended recreational marijuana establishments ordinance states that City Council reserves the right to amend or repeal this ordinance in any manner, including prohibiting or limiting the type or number of recreational marijuana establishments and state license types authorized to operate in the city. At the last City Council meeting and also at the Planning Commission meeting, there were exposed several issues that could potentially cost Harper Woods a lot of money and create a lot more chaos than we already have. So I propose at this time that while the issue has been tabled by the Planning Commission, that you take the time to consider the expressions that the residents that you serve have expressed and think about repealing this as you have provided in your ordinance, or failing that, it should go on the ballot as it should have been in the first place. And I ask you to consider that. Secondly, I'd like to thank you because for the first time in months, I could hear you, and that is really a treat. What I would request, though, is that since Planning Commission meetings are also public meetings, no audio equipment is provided at all, and that makes trying to participate in a public meeting very difficult, if not impossible, because even in the front row, unless someone's yelling, you can't hear anything. So to meet the public hearing requirements, I would ask that you provide audio just like this. It's been great for Planning Commission meetings as well. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robin Cooper, and I live in the first block off Kelly on the street Elkhart. Now, I don't know if this is the avenue I should be at, but I'm having problems with a neighbor, kitty corner for me, parking on their front lawn. And I'm not talking about one car. I'm talking about 3 cars, and They park on the boulevard between the street and the sidewalk, and they park in front of my across the street neighbor. They have a double lot. Nobody lives there, but they pull up and they park 3 cars there. I have called the police. The police have told me they're too busy to come. I've called the police probably, and I'm not joking, 8 to 10 times. I also talked to a city worker, and he said, "You just keep calling." I said, I'm tired of people, answering the phone, police department, and me telling them, well, they're really busy today. I live on Elkhart. That is a drag racing street right there where the traffic light is. You could make so much money, have a police car just sit at that corner. They go through the red light. They don't even think to stop. I've been almost hit many times on Kelly. But my biggest thing is people parking on the grass. And it's not that my side of the street where there's parking is completely filled with cars. There's not. But they'd rather pull up on the boulevard than park across the street. It's only 8 steps across the street. Like I said, I don't know if this is the right avenue, but I had to say something because it's very frustrating. I've sat there and it's been an hour before the police even drive by, and then they go do something else. They'll drive by, but they won't stop. So that's my issue. I've been a Harper Woods resident for 23 years now, and I love it. But this is something that's really bothering me. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. And you see the director after the meeting, please?
Who is that?
Right? Mhm.
Standing right back
Yeah.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right? You need to be moving that way.
Larry Hakeem, I live on Little Stone Road. I don't know if your road repair budget is done for 2024 or not, but Tyrone and Chester, between Stanhope and Little Stone, are the 2 lost blocks in Harper Woods, because half of it's Grosse Pointe Woods, half of it's Harper Woods. And each one thinks the other guy's gonna fix the potholes. In the meantime, nobody fixes the potholes. 5 years now. They have trouble getting the garbage picked up or the leaves done on that street, both streets, in that it's just a little short block. But, in the middle, nothing. So like I said, Grosse Pointe Woods thinks Harper Woods gonna do it. Harper Woods thinks Grosse Pointe gonna do it. In the meantime, nobody's doing it. Handle it, babe. Thank you. The other thing, regarding the one thing that was brought up regarding the parade, I didn't have time to read the whole minutes and budgets and all that stuff before I came tonight. What's the cost on this parade to the city of Harper Woods? What's city of Harper Woods paying for this parade?
Initially, it's about 4,900. We're renting, I want to say 2 floats from the Detroit Parade Company.
Okay. Is that total, inclusive of donations or after donations or?
This is our upfront money,
Okay.
yeah, to be reimbursed.
So hopefully the donations are reimbursing the 4,900 or whatever.
At
Correct.
least.
That sounds like a plan. Okay, that's not outrageous. Kids deserve it. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. Happy New Year. We start out a new year. Hopefully it'll be a good one. I'm kind of echoing the same thing on Lansdowne between Woodcrest and Kenosha. It's a total disaster. Has been for 4 or 5 years now, and it just keeps getting worse. And you guys keep moving around to different places like whatever the one is over the Little Stone or whatever it is, you've repaired all those, and yet this one keeps keeps getting put back, pushed back, and pushed back. And they've filled the potholes so many times, it just makes it worse. It's totally ridiculous. The second item is I want to commend the police for their action on our standoff. From my understanding, the gentleman was not apprehended, but the marshals are looking for him. Again, would like to see an ordinance, because this is starting to become more and more prevalent in Harper Woods, where bad actors are moving in, especially in rentals, and the police are being called to more and more domestic violence. I was out in Sterling Heights with my grandson ice skating out there at Dodge Park, talking with an officer who used to be one here. And he works for Sterling Heights now. And he said Sterling Heights has an ordinance where if they're called out more than 2 or 3 times, they charge the person. The person who owns the home, or the landlord, or whatever, or business, or whatever. If they're called out more than 2 or 3 times, they fill out a bill, and they get a bill for that, because that's a waste of our time, and it puts our officers in peril. Either that, or you come up with something for the rentals where landlords, after 2 or 3 times, got to have them move. And that's the only way I can figure to do it, is start charging them for our officers coming out after 2 or 3 times. It's getting to be ridiculous. That pulls them away from everything else. And yes, there is a lot of parking cars, especially on Lansdowne. There's 2 of them. One's got flats, and it's been sitting there for a year now. The other one's sitting there with no plate in the back end, is facing out towards Lansdowne between Roscommon and Woodside. So our officers do a pretty good job, but there's still, I know, some stuff they need to do. Thank you.
Right. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Seeing none? Okay. I'll call the council.
Oh, me? Okay. Oh, wait. I didn't know. We usually go back. Happy New Year, everyone. I look forward to a nice, prosperous 2024. And that's about all I have. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and good holidays. Thank you.
I want to echo the Happy New Year, but I also want to say I wasn't here at the last meeting because I was suffering with COVID, but I had an opportunity to watch the last council meeting, and I know it's echoing a lot of the concerns that we've been hearing regarding our process for the cannabis businesses. Before we move forward on anything, first I want to ask our city attorney for a written opinion, because I think that the city council needs to have something in place that assures us that the process that the city took, it was accurate and will be upstanding. So I know the city attorney works for the city council, that according to charter, we can ask her for opinions on anything that's going on at the council table or in the community. And so I want to ask the council to support this request, to have the city attorney write a written opinion about the process that the city has taken, so that we know that it is legally, sound going forward before we do anything else. So Madam Mayor, can I ask the city council to weigh in on this?
Yes.
Can we have?
If that's the wishes of the city council?
Yes. Is
How do
everyone
you
in
do
favor?
this? We make it in the motion form? Or how? How do we
I'll
actually do it?
offer the motion to have the city attorney write a written opinion concerning the process that the city took on cannabis business, whatever, cannabis businesses,
Okay,
so that we can move forward in this.
so she made a motion. Is there support? Is anyone supporting her request?
I'll support.
Okay, support. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes?
I was just wondering if, because I know you want something written from our city attorney. Is that something that the city attorney can do, is to write that opinion? Yes, no?
I mean, if we ask her to, she has to. I mean,
May I respond?
Yes.
You're asking me for hypotheticals. I don't know that I can respond to a hypothetical.
well, the process has already taken place.
And the process
And
is
so-
written, and so you're asking me about a hypothetical.
Right.
Well, the process is written. What would you like me to comment on?
That the process of having
It,
the way it's lined up, whatever the way that this.
you're
process
asking me
took
for,
place.
you're asking me for a hypothetical. I
Okay.
gotta do what ifs. I can't do that. I'm just telling you what I can respond to. I can't respond to something that I don't know. What is the hypothetical? The second is, perhaps even a little more important, is perhaps you're asking me for attorney-client privilege information in terms of other discussions we've had with regard to, we've had threats of perhaps litigation or threats, and you're asking me to perhaps comment that might breach that attorney-client privilege and or work product privilege.
Well, if you are our attorney, it doesn't have to be a public thing. If you want to do something and provide us with privileged information concerning the process.
We
so
can
that
have a
we
closed
move forward,
session. We can have a closed session.
Then I think we need to do that because there have been so many questions raised about the process that we took, getting us to this point, that, you know, even the planning commission has taken a pause on the process to make certain that we're doing it properly. And so I think that we need to be assured that the process that we took is correct.
Well, then I would, excuse me, you, man, I can't, excuse me, Mayor Kindle. If I may, what I would suggest then is that a closed session be perhaps scheduled to discuss this with council, as opposed to perhaps well, I could certainly still do a written opinion to a certain extent, but again, it's based on hypotheticals.
Well, we already.
I can't dream of all the possibilities.
Right. If, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Then if I could ask that the city attorney, would you be prepared to have a closed session by the end of the month? We have 2 meetings upcoming,
The 29th,
the 17th and the 29th.
perhaps the 29th.
Okay, because I think that before the planning commission can take another step, before the city can move forward on this, we need to know that the process that we had in place can be upstanding, you know, that it is an accurate or correct process. And if it's not, in your opinion, and you'll share that with us privately or whatever, but if you believe that it's not a proper process, then we need to go back and make the corrections before we move forward.
Let's hang on here for a minute. Leslie, when is the next planning commission, if I may?
It's the fourth Wednesday.
What day is that?
I don't have a calendar for you.
I don't have a calendar here either.
That is the 24th?
Correct. 25th.
20
Oh, Wednesday,
Wednesday.
24th, you're right.
And
So we would need it on the
Our next
17th.
meeting's on a Wednesday.
the 17th, I'll have it by the 17th.
You'll have it by the 17th.
I think we should have a closed session if that, before planning commission, yes.
Should the planning commission be included in that closed session because they're the next step in the process?
That's up to council.
The city attorney says that's up to council.
For what?
to have the planning commission included in any closed session that we might have. Can we do that?
You can invite to closed session anyone you feel can bring something to the meeting and still maintain that it's a closed session. You can bring experts, you can bring witnesses, you can bring anybody that the council deems appropriate and still maintain the closed session status.
I would think that that would be a very valuable step in our favor as a community moving forward, to have the planning commission also hear anything that our city attorney might want to tell us about the process that we've engaged in.
May I comment?
Yes.
I'm just a little confused. I mean, we took the process, all of our people, including the law firm and all our, McKenna and all of them, we went through, they worked with all the people who were given their applications closely and had answered any questions all the way through the process. They were familiar with how they were going to have to submit their applications, and now all of a sudden it's the ones who lost are upset, and I just don't understand why we open up another can of worms. We've come past this, but
I don't think it's a can of worms. I think it's a fact that there have been so many questions raised repeatedly, even before the process took place.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we will have a closed section with council. And if we feel the need that, we need to bring in, planning commission, because planning commission operates separately from us. They bring it to us. So we need to make sure that we're on sure footing before we go any further. And so we'll have a closed session of us, of city council. And then, if need be, we will have a session for the planning commission with our city attorney. Okay? Okay, so now, we have a motion out on the table. What do we do with this? So
the motion was for a letter. Now, are we going to a session now? What's the motion for?
I'll change it so that the motion reflects a closed session.
Okay.
with our
Okay,
city
Thank you.
all right. Now, let's have your motion.
A motion to have the city attorney prepare whatever she needs to prepare for a closed session with city
On
council.
January 17th. Is that your motion?
Yes.
Is there anyone supporting that?
I'll support.
Okay. Is there any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Tom, is there anything?
Just Happy New Year's, everybody. Hope you had a great Christmas. Thanks for showing up. That's it.
Happy New Year. I don't have anything else tonight.
Yeah, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, and I'm looking really forward to the parade that we're giving for our high school students. They worked really, really hard and really earned that, and I'm really proud of them, so I'm looking forward to the parade. Thank you.
All right, then that leaves it to me, and I appreciate and thank our representative for giving us a presentation about what's going on at the state level, and to also put on your wish list for our community is that not only are we trying to get a rec center, but we also need a new municipal center, a new city hall. And I say municipal center so everyone knows it's not just city hall. It's for everything. This building is in dire straits. In the summertime, we was burning up. In the wintertime, we're freezing. It's pleasant pretty much today, but that doesn't have anything to do with what tomorrow might bring with the temperature fluctuating. So, 50-some years plus, this building is in dire straits. Our police, if you ever were to get a visit back there and see what our police come into, it's just horrendous. but, they got the money federally, and so I'm gonna need everybody to step up when I finally get the directions of how we contact everybody. I need everyone here in the city of Harper Woods to contact, because for many, 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 many years, we have just paid out our taxes and we have gotten very little benefits back. So it's time that we get some of the benefits that other communities get, but that's only because they talk, they involve themselves. We have sat silently and just paid our dues. Now it's time for us to reap the benefits of what we paid into the system. So when it's time, when I get the information for the letters that we need to sign and whatever, then I will ask you guys to help me make sure that we get what we deserve here in Harper Woods. And with that, I say Happy New Year's, and please, please come out and support our team for their celebration. It is so important. Those guys work so hard, and we're so proud of them. So thank you, and we're gonna support them on January 12th, 1 o'clock. Okay? Have a good evening, and Tom,
Mayor, I make a motion for adjournment. Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed, and we are adjourned.